that being said, the end of the school year is a very vulnerable time for teachers. As we approach the end, obviously, teachers are tired, staff is tired, everybody is just ready for the break, ready to go. People are over it. Understandably so. But keep in mind, we're still responsible for kids until the last day. Teachers are still responsible for kids until the very last day of school. So now is definitely not the time to let up on expectations, classroom rules and expectations. Now is not the time to relax on what can be done and what cannot. No. If anything, just as before, is to remind kids of what the expectations are. Because guess what? Just because it's a couple months, couple weeks before the end of the school year, that doesn't make you any less responsible. If something happens right now, something goes down right now, okay, and you know as a teacher, things come out of nowhere. Just when you think you have the perfect lesson and you're ready to go and you're just like energized and what? No. Just when you think you have it together or semi together, here they are. They drop something on you. Okay? Things come out of nowhere when you least expect them. So now is not the time to relax and chill. Absolutely not. You better keep your eyes peeled just like you did earlier in the year. Honestly, in teaching, there is no relax. Once you're in the building and you have kids in your face, there is no relax. There's not a day where you can say, oh, okay, let me just sit back and chill. That doesn't exist. Now, every once in a while, you might do that just because you're human, you're having a human moment or whatever, or, you know, there's something seasonal passing through, there's something happening in the air, in the culture, in the zeitgeist or whatever. Like, there is something in the atmosphere that causes you to, okay, maybe not be as firm that day necessarily, or maybe even a week necessarily, right? But don't be naive about it, right? Just because you happen to be in that particular moment, that doesn't mean things can't happen. Things can still happen. Don't be naive. Don't think, oh, I'm free, I'm off the hook. There is no off the hook for teachers. That doesn't exist. Okay? So cut that out. Don't even think about it. That doesn't exist. If you have kids in your face, you're on. Period. End of story. With that in mind, the school year is coming to an end. You're tired as a teacher. So are your colleagues and everybody else. But on the flip side, the students, they're not that tired, please. Look, they might be, and they likely are, tired of going to school. But they were like that since, let's say, December. They've been like this, okay? The only kids that might be really, that might feel it a little bit are the high achievers, okay? The high achieving kids, yes, of course, they've been putting in work day in and day out. So they might be a little bit, a little bit exhausted. But even then they are high achievers because they like to be stimulated. They like to do work. So it's the atmosphere of work doesn't really deter them. It doesn't faze them. They are wired for that, right? That's their personality. So even for them, there's a certain benefit to being in school and being challenged and being, busy at least, So for them, it's not, even that, it's not a bad thing. But for the majority, they're not that tired, other than maybe tired of going to school. So when you have this dynamic of teachers are tired, but kids are losing it, right? Kids, they have energy. They still have the energy because all they do, look, in this day and age, there's not even homework to take. There's not really that much homework where you have to go home and do other things and do work to bring back to the teacher. That doesn't even exist anymore in this day and age. The school mostly happens in the classroom, direct teaching, and then once the bell rings, ding, you know, the day is over, or that class is over, the kid doesn't really have to take much home. Okay, so as far as that's concerned, as far as like do work, stay busy all the time, the kids in this generation, they don't really have that. Half the time we don't know what they're complaining about, because all they have to do is show up, do the work in class, and leave, and then be done. That's the day, right? So they still have the energy. All they do go home. They're able to sleep. They're able to take a nap, sleep, hang out with friends, be online, things like that. So there's really not anything to be nervous about. They're not that busy. Let's be honest. So when you have a dynamic of teachers being tired but the kids have energy, this is the worst place to be as the as the school year is coming to an end, right? So let's say three aspects, okay, the elements of this. It's the teachers being tired, kids have energy, and the school year is approaching. It's not like the end of the school year is approaching. It's not like it's like December and then we have a little holiday break, or a little long weekend or something like that. It's not that. The end of the school year is approaching, and you have this dynamic in front of you. You are in a very dangerous place. This is the most dangerous time of the year. Unfortunately, a lot of the atmosphere, kids start to give off an air and a vibe of, I can relax and chill, the rules don't apply anymore, school is over. School is not over. Okay, and it's up to you as a teacher to reiterate that and to walk that out too. It's not like say it. They have to see it. School is not over. And if you allow kids to relax on you in April, end of April when we get back, or May, when you're out here until the end of June pretty much, you are in you're playing with fire. Okay, it doesn't take a week for something to go wrong with children. It doesn't take a week. All it takes is one let up, one wiggle room, one slip up, one mistake, one oversight, just one, and then here you are in a big mess. Okay, so watch that very carefully. And you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's nothing to reinvent. It's just reinforce your classroom. Reinforce your classroom policy and adjust, interventions based on kids' needs and whatnot. Some of them need a little bit stronger of a reminder. Words don't work for them. Okay, they need something firm, something concrete, something legit. And that's gonna guarantee those 2 months being, you're already tired as it is. The last thing you want to do is manage behavior. Okay, on 20 day in and day out, like that's the last thing you want to do. Okay, what you want to do is make sure that expectations are recommunicated, and then keep everybody in check. Okay, it's not over. It's not over until it's over. And if you don't go in yourself with that mindset, you're gonna have a lot of problems. It's gonna be the longest. Those 2 months are gonna feel like the past 8. They're gonna feel like those 2 months alone are gonna feel like 3 quarters. Okay? If you're not careful. Every day is gonna feel like a year. Okay? If you're not careful. So now is not the time to relax and be cute. No, yeah, I'm a good teacher. No. Everything needs to be reiterated. That doesn't mean you can't party and celebrate with them. Of course, you can show that side of you. But you're not going to show the side of like, oh, suddenly rules don't apply. Because then it would negate everything else that you've been doing. It's like, okay, well, how come they don't apply now when we've been doing it all along? Like, you know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. But the last thing you want to do is find yourself some issues. And kids, this time of year is already prone to a bunch of problems. You better act accordingly. Like, act like you know. Because you do.